let's talk about the Chinese fashion chain Urban Revivo, first of all. 400 locations in China and Southeast Asia, now opening here in London. What brand is it? What kind of brand is it?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jamie and Paul. Urban Revivo is, many people will call it the Zara of China. Like many Chinese companies these days, they're working very hard to build a trusted brand overseas. So they're not just selling clothing, they're working on an image and a reputation overseas. And I think we're seeing, as we just saw, you just mentioned, they've opened their latest store here in London. I think this news is sort of in the bigger context of China in general, building branding overseas and expanding internationally, and not just being the manufacturer of the world. They're being, in the future, I can foresee them becoming the branding capital of the world, if that makes sense, going overseas and competing with overseas brands. So I think that's what we're seeing with Urban Revivo as an example.
Mm-hmm. Interesting that you call it the sort of Chinese version of Zara. Zara, though, still has a real supremacy, dominance in the retail market, doesn't it? Amazingly, Topshop making a comeback, huge part of my youth here in London. Can Urban Revivo really make its mark against these kind of really established Western names here in London, here in the West?
Such an interesting topic. You know, to go to other industries, for example, you would call BYD would also expanding quickly in the UK as the Tesla of China, if you want to say it that. But they've actually exceeded Tesla recently in some numbers. So Urban Revivo, are they going to exceed Zara or exceed Western brands? It's a question mark. But whether it's Urban Revivo or other Chinese brands, I think they're going to give Western brands a run for their money in terms of business development in the future.
Now, as you can tell, you're talking to two dedicated followers of fashion, the wrong end of middle age, of course, and the kind of generation probably who'd like to walk into a shop and feel the clothes. I mean, it is worth saying, isn't it, that we've reported on this programme that the story till recently was all about brands walking out of bricks and mortars premises and moving online. Is that changing, and what is the future for the high street?
So interesting, isn't it, that over the last 10 years it's been a move to online sales and cross-border trade, Amazon, etc., including with Chinese brands selling on Amazon, etc. I think you're right that the next 5 years to 10 years we're going to see an offline revolution or return to offline across industries. What we're seeing, my company has helped over 300 different brands from China expand overseas. All of them, without exception, are focused on offline. Because if you want to build trust in the market, you need to meet your consumer face-to-face. And I think we're going to see that more in London in the future, too.
We were just reporting that Shein, which has got a big name here, actually saw global profits fall in part due to these tariffs in America. How important, you know, for the people that you work with, how important is Europe now as a growth area for Chinese, specifically for clothing brands? Are they really focusing on Europe now?
We've seen an uptick of 50% in terms of our revenue. In an interest in the UK and Germany compared to a few years ago. If you ask Chinese brands where they growing to, they'd say probably the US. The last 2 years, because of Trump, the de minimis tax being the exemption being removed for companies like Shein, we're seeing Chinese companies expressing more interest in the UK and Europe more generally. So I think it's an interesting opportunity for the UK to seize that, and there's more to be done in terms of the diplomatic relations, but I think there's opportunities there for sure.
And can I ask you, when you're doing all your research for all of these many companies you represent, there's no such thing as the customer, is there? There's loads of demographics, aren't there? I mean, are you talking essentially about a very mobile, younger consumer, where older consumers, I'm not pointing to you particularly, but I mean, older consumers just do what they've always done and are very difficult to change in our own purchasing habits? Are you talking about young consumers?
I think they're targeting younger people that are, interestingly, less interested in social media and more interested in the offline experience in a store. So the brand is more interested to connect with people in person, and the younger demographics are also changing how they're buying things, especially clothing where you want to touch and feel what you're buying, if that makes sense.
And just a very last question. In 5 years' time, are we going to be talking and reporting about the death of online and all of us are going to rush back to buy on the high streets?
I think we might be wearing Chinese-made branding suits and talking about offline stores.